Welcome everyone to Wizards Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons there, Cardo Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpey Jr., and the Washington Wizards fall to the Brooklyn Nets this afternoon, 121 to 115. That means the Nets win the season series 3 games to 1. Uh, Cardo, I would mention this during pregame that Washington had a chance that they won this one to even the series at 2-2 on the year, and some of the suspects that Cardo listed ended up showing up in this one. We'll let him get to that in just a minute. Ray will give you first go at this one tonight. We see Washington fight. They fall. Will Riley continues. Feels like we say this every game. He's continuing to do what it is that he's doing. Jameer Watkins, another one like some of these youngsters uh, continuing to make strides. But go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is one turnovers and the points they conceded off the turnovers. They gave up 37 points off giveaways. It's hard to win like that. And as opposed to some previous games for the Wizards, they checked off some boxes here, man. They shot 56% from the field. They won the bat on the glass. Uh, but yeah, it's just difficult when you're giving the ball away at that rate. Um, they trailed by as much as 17 in this one, and kudos to them. They fought back. Much of that was on Will Riley's shoulders, like you said, and Jameer Watkins. Juju Reese also had a good game. But yeah, when you giving the ball away at that clip, it's no way to get any rhythm and flow, and you just digging yourself in too big of a hole. And they just weren't able to overcome it. You know, when they were able to keep the Nets out the open court, defense wasn't great, but it wasn't like we've seen recently. They did foul a lot. They put them on line 23 times. The Nets made 20 of those free throws, and inversely, the Wizards missed 10 of their free throws. So, it's a 6 point game. They cleaned up the turnovers a little bit. They shoot better from the line, and we're talking about a different result. But yeah, man. Overall, the young guys they're continuing to take advantage of their opportunities, and yeah, man, they're just powering through the last part of the season.
Cardo.
Yeah, man, it was a winnable game under normal circumstances. We all know what it is, but I think the Wizards kind of it just came down to the fourth quarter, and the Nets had a little bit more. And it goes back to Ray pointing out about the turnovers. And in the fourth quarter, the Wizards had five. Brooklyn scored 13 points off those five turnovers. On the other side with Brooklyn, zero, which is very promising for Nolan Traore, who's he's rapidly improving. He compared to what he looked like early in the season, trying to figure out the NBA game after some G League stints. His defense obviously got him on the floor, but now the way he controlled the game in the fourth with Will Riley going crazy, I believe he had 12 in the fourth quarter on 5 or 6 shooting, with 2 assists and whatnot. And Jameer Watkins added 8 points in that quarter. I feel like, Traore with his 10 points, 2 assists, he controlled the game. No turnovers, none. 3 of 7, 2 of 4 from deep, getting the ball to the right people at the right time. Drake Powell had 4, who I talk about, post game. Pre-game. Jalen Wilson, former Kansas guard, had 5, and Liddell and Trevon Scott, they added they combined for 7 points in that quarter. And all of that was just getting it done by committee because Traore was setting up everything. And that shows you the promise that he has to be able to control the game in the football. Look, I get it ain't the heavy hitters, the main guys on the floor, but both teams were in the same position. And that's what they're being evaluated for going into the summer and going into the next year. Like, can you produce in these type of moments? And Traore was the difference. We're Riley right there trying to seize the game, doing what he does. Traore was the difference, man. So you got to give him a lot of credit in that quarter, man. That's what propelled them and helped them hold on when the Wizards, when they battle back, man. But like Ray said, man, 23 turnovers and you give up 37 points. You only lose by 6. That's just, what I'm saying? That's tough. It is what it is.
Yeah, and the turnovers is one of those evergreen things we've been talking about all year, along with the defense. It's been a constant thing. how many times we come over here after the game and that magical part of the team stats category, points conceded off turnovers. They're all most of the year they've been on the wrong side of that, and it's cost them every time they've lost that. Player of the game for you guys?
Mr. Trey Ori,
Mhm.
23 and 7, 5 of 11 from deep. And that's supposed to be a weak point for his game, shooting.
Rapidly improving, as you said, making he's putting his bid in to make sure he's a part of that, a big part of that rotation next year as they go forward. He's trying to, like you said, they're in similar positions. They both want to try to start this year, sprinting after this offseason. Xfactor for you guys?
Yeah, that's where it kind of get. I guess you got to say Jalen Wilson with his complete game, 19, 5 and 4, 6 and 9 from the field, 2 and 4 from deep, 5 or 6. But I was looking at Josh Minot a little bit off the bench with his 15. But yeah, Jalen Wilson's all around impact, was much needed, especially with who he had, Jameer doing work, and Will Riley coming in with 30s. Yeah, Will Riley, he rough for somebody's spot. That's all I know. It's rough. We just don't know what it
is. He says you could pencil in Trey, AD, and me, and we'll figure out who the other two people are. Pretty much. Ray.
Yeah, it was a crowded field, but Jalen Wilson had the best game of the others, so I go with him as well.
All right. Again, the Nets wrap up the season series with the Wizards. They win it 3-1. Up next, Washington has, I believe, their last three home games of the season coming up.
Yep.
Tuesday night, and then is it Thursday, Friday?
Something like that.
So we'll see you guys several more times this week on Wizards pregame and Wizards Outlook. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Easter Sunday.